Waiting for the perfect market? Here's the truth. It doesn't exist. And if you're still waiting, well, you're already losing ground.
Let's talk about that today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. And now your hosts, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome back to the WBNL Podcast, where we help you align, connect, and prosper. This is episode 381, and you know the deal. You can find all our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Matt, today we're going to have a real honest conversation about the market, mindset, and finishing 2025 strong. Because, you know, we all know what's happening. Interest rates, what can we say? And we're talking a little bit real estate today. Interest rates have been hovering around between 6 and 7 for the last couple of years. Okay, sellers are still sitting tight for the most part. We're seeing movement finally with their less than 4% interest rate. So love their mortgage, but maybe they're not loving their home anymore, right? Buyers are waiting on the sidelines, hoping for that perfect moment or for the market to crash. This is what we always hear. I'm waiting for the market to crash, the prices come down, and the rates to come down to like 4 again. Okay, this is what every one of you out there that does real estate, any part of the industry, knows that you've been hearing. And you know, the real truth is there's never a perfect market. Every cycle comes with various challenges and with opportunities. We're going to talk about that today, because careful what you wish for, because when things do shift and do change, it's a different set of challenges, because there is no perfect market. So the question is, are you going to adapt? Have you adapted? And if not, why not? Or are you, and if you don't, you're going to get left behind. That's just the bottom line. So we're breaking that all down today for you, the mindset shift you really need, the specific actions, because we want to make things actionable that you need to take right now. It's not good enough to think about it. You have to take an action. You have to do something. And why preparing today positions you to thrive when the next wave hits, where the market shifts. But it's also going to help you, if you get on this on board right now, finish the year strong and really set yourself up for a great 2026 beginning.
That's awesome. Absolutely. So here's what we're kind of seeing out there. Too many agents are falling into 3 specific traps. Now, you might fall into more than one trap, but you're falling probably into one of these traps. And I'll bet you caught yourself into at least one of these. So let's talk about what these traps are. One of them is scarcity. You're thinking to yourself, there are no deals out there. Everyone's just sitting on the sidelines, right? So there's the scarcity trap. Blame. It's the market's fault. Rates are too high. Sellers won't budge. Buyers are scared. That's number 2, the blame trap. And paralysis. I'll just wait. Something's bound to change soon. So those 3 traps. And actually, now that I say it, I'm sure you're falling into probably more than one of those traps, because they all might be there. But here's the truth. The mindset is exactly why 80 to 90% of the agents are struggling. They've convinced themselves the game is unwinnable. So when you think the game is unwinnable, you typically just stop playing altogether. But the top 10 or 10 to 20% of the agents, well, they're thinking differently. They don't get paralyzed, they get proactive. This is the same. This isn't just what's happening now. Jen and I laugh about this because we've been in real estate for such a long time. We know this is just a cycle, right? So this is a very normal thing. Good and bad markets, this happens too, by the way. You know, there's proactive agents and there's not. But these proactive agents, they know there's always opportunities around if you're willing to look. They lean into conversations. They deepen relationships. They build pipelines when everyone else is binge watching Netflix. And hopefully the market will magically improve.
Yeah.
So you need a mindset shift, right? And here it is. Don't compete in today's market. Prepare for tomorrow's market. If you wait until conditions are perfect, you'll always be behind. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be on front of the wave, or on top of the wave, not behind the wave. The people who are working today build systems, sharpen their skills, stay visible. Those are the agents who own the next wave.
Yeah, and when we say don't compete in today's market, it's not that literal, meaning you do adjust, and we're going to talk through some things right now where you're always building the pipeline, because this is another real truth, and we've talked about it on previous podcasts. There are always going to be people who need to buy and sell. Now, yes, at the moment, the number of people buying is down anywhere from 6 to 10% year over year, depending on your marketplace. Okay, that's a fact, but it doesn't mean 0 people are doing it. So you making those adjustments is what we're talking about, and staying ahead of the game, right? So you don't have to wish for the market to be easier. You get better so you can thrive in any market is really what I'm trying to say. So when you're waiting around, you're losing ground. That's what Matt was just saying. But when you work on your mindset, because everything starts with mindset. If you don't believe it, whatever you believe, let me say it that way. Whatever you're thinking about or believing, you're making happen. It's showing up in your life. It's your thoughts, but it's also how you're feeling. This whole manifestation thing, I keep hearing somebody say this, and I absolutely love it. It's somebody I follow online. Manifestation is not magic, okay? It's literally just how you're feeling and what your resonance is. Like, what is your vibration? Meaning, what are you putting out there? What's the energy that you're putting out there? And if it's doom and gloom, all the things Matt just said, I'm waiting, I'm blaming, I'm whatever, I'm scarcity, then guess what? You've created that. So you have to change your mindset, but you also have to get in your body and be aware of how do you shift how you feel about it, because that's when you can make the changes. Okay, so we're going to dive in a little bit more and talk about how to do all that so that you can handle what business is going to come your way now. But as Matt just said, get yourself geared up ahead of a shift that's going to come. And I don't know when that wave is going to come and everything's going to come down a little bit. More people are going to jump in, which is going to bring its own set of other issues, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay.
Yep.
So momentum is everything right now. All right, so let's get practical. What can you do right now to finish this year strong? Finish the year strong, meaning you'll have some transactions, but you're also going to set yourself up for the beginning of the new year. So let's talk about daily disciplines and year-end strategies. So this is our daily discipline framework. It's a slight variation of do the daily. Some of the same things in it, but very specific to what we're talking about today. All right. So always, number one is start with a morning routine. Mindset, gratitude, intention. You figure out what it is for you. Morning routine has nothing to do with business and scrolling and looking at social media and going down that rabbit hole. It's do something for yourself. It can be physical stuff, taking a walk, whatever it is, but mindset, gratitude, and setting your intentions for the day. And of course, the only way to get business going is to commit to something, some kind of activity that is 1 to 2 hours a day that is going to generate leads, okay? Start with just get back in touch with your sphere of influence. Follow up with past clients. Whatever your niche is that you do, for me, it's content. So we have been slowing down on our content, and we know when we do more content, we get more leads. If we were doing open houses and we're not doing the normal amount that we would do, we've got to do more open houses and you will get business. I don't care what it is that you choose to do. That's right. You need to be passionate about it. You need to like it. If you hate knocking on doors, making cold calls and doing open houses, well, you better find something in the real estate business that you do like, otherwise it's not going to work for you. But you know what I mean? There's something that you're good at, that you like, and you've got to get up and do that every day. Bottom line, and as soon as you start taking action, momentum shifts, you start feeling better. Business comes from maybe not the fact that you called 10 people, but out of the blue, somebody calls you and says, you know what? We need to sell our house. It happens all the time. You just have to believe it. Then you need to follow up. So you lead generate, but you follow up with leads that you already have, or you follow up with some of your past clients, or you do other things beyond just doing business to generate new leads, right? Look at your pipeline. We're doing that right now. We have a pipeline that was people from a year ago. Who there might be ready to go make a move, right? And then the last part here is to sharpen your skills. So if you're part of the reason why people, I feel, Matt, don't reach out and call, a couple reasons. So one reason why you don't call your sphere is I haven't talked to anybody in a while. And I just want to really say this. I said this to somebody on a coaching call the other day. I don't really want to call anybody or get in touch because I'm kind of embarrassed. I haven't talked to them in a while. And I said, okay, let me help you reframe that. Do you think that your clients are sitting around saying, that Jan O'Brien, who does she think she is that she doesn't stay in touch with me? No, they really aren't wasting their time. You're worrying so much about they're going to be like, wow, you finally called me. They're just going to be glad to hear from you because if they had a good experience with you, they'll think it's great if it's been a year since you talked. Okay. They don't sit around going, because that's what you've done to yourself. You've awfulized it. Okay. So trust me on this one. Get rid of that excuse. But if you have other issues, like I don't know what to say about what's going on in the market, well, you need to get a new script, a new thing about where are the opportunities, because there's opportunities in every market. And that's where you might need to go back, understand what's happening in the market, get a little retraining, skills training, so you know how to handle that. Okay. And the way to do that is to be a market expert, understand your stats, look at the bigger picture, what's happening in the economy and interest rates, and get up to speed with that. Okay. So there you go. That's your daily discipline.
I love that, Jan. I love the little, shift on that whole idea that when you're making that phone call, because you're making it about you, or the block is you're making it about you.
Yes.
And actually, it's not. So that is a mindset shift right there that you really need to pay attention to, because it's a huge difference the way she described that between,
can you imagine? You sit and just paralyze yourself. Oh, they're going to think bad of me. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be like, they're going to hate me. No, they're not. They're going to be like, oh, my God, it's so great to hear from you. Let me tell you about what's happened since we bought the house.
Really and truly, that works into almost every part of your life. You know what I mean? You often are putting yourself into something and it prevents you from moving forward because you are too worried about what other people are going to what you think other people are going to be thinking is so crazy. Just let them think. You do your own thing, whatever.
Let them.
Yeah.
We're going to do a podcast on the let them theory.
All right. So let's not just talk about mindset, though, because although mindset's important, you have to have a little motion into your day here. So let's put some of this into motion with some seasonal strategies. And, I always love talking about things this time of the year because they are I love talking about them. At the same time, they feel like the same old thing. We're always saying the same old thing. But you know what? The same old thing is what freaking works. Exactly. And that's what you need to remember. These are the simple, easy things, especially in real estate, that actually make an impact and have proven to actually work. Fall and winter. This statement actually is another thing that I feel like is very overused in the business, that everyone gets out of the business and everyone gets lazy in the winter and blah, 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 and fall and winter when most agents check out. Here's the thing about stereotypes and statements like that. Those become that for a reason. Because people do check out this time of the year. And this time of the year, especially when the market's doing what it's doing, it's even easier to want to just check out and coast and say, I'll take care of that and I'll start fresh in January in the new year. Because, that's when things are going to change. Because I think you've noticed that between December 31st and January 1st, things just change dramatically. Actually, they don't change at all. It's just the next day. You know what I mean? It's just a label. Mm-hmm. But that's your opening to run the field this time of year because people are out, right? So here's what we'd be doing right now. And once again, none of this is rocket science. None of this is all that new. But the point is you need to be doing something. So here's a couple ideas. Host a fall client appreciation event. Even if it's just simple, like coffee and pumpkin pie at your office or a quick happy hour meetup somewhere. It's not about scale. It's about connection. How do you communicate these things? Well, because you're doing your local market newsletter to your client base, right? You already have that base. You just didn't, or pick
what a great reason to call them, invite them.
Pick up the phone. What? The other thing that you should be doing all the time, but it's just this is a great time to do it because there's things to talk about because everyone's got stuff going on this time of the year in the fall and the winter rolls around. But reconnect with your database for crying out loud. Don't overcomplicate it though. Just pick up the phone, send a quick market update video, or even just a text to someone just thinking of you. Here's what's happening in our market. Just those simple kind of things because once again, getting back to that whole thing about calling someone, it's the same thing. Don't worry about, I haven't talked to anybody in 2 years. They're going to be like, that's fine. Nice follow-up, Jan. No, they're not going to be thinking that. They're going to be thinking that happened in our market. That's awesome. Got to have this information. Mm-hmm. You can create bite-sized market update contents. Shoot a 60-second reel, a quick short YouTube short, or a LinkedIn post, which, we have to keep advocating videos where it's at, right? So if you're not doing that, you need to get in that bandwagon. Even if you're afraid, don't be afraid. It's going to be fine. And probably a lot better than you think. So the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be present. That's what it's all about. So here's
Matt,
the kick.
Can I add a couple more ideas around that reconnect with your database?
Absolutely.
I love the autumnal appreciation event. I had to throw an autumnal in there for Matt. But the reconnecting with your database, one of the things I'm considering doing, and I think old school sometimes works. So right now is the time to plan if you're going to send like anything from a calendar. I used to do those calendars, that has your business card on it, even though people have that on their phone and so forth. I think people sometimes like a little mini calendar, or you could do something along those lines, or a card, or do something that you're going to send them, by the end of the year, or a holiday greeting, or maybe it's a Happy New Year kind of a thing. And now's the time to get that stuff ordered and plan it. And it could be a touch that maybe some of you already do those things, but if you haven't been, we do a newsletter, and that gets open quite a, pretty good 60% open rate, which is huge. But I'm going to do something else that's a touch and a follow-up and a call or text as well, along with sending a little gift. Okay.
And I think that's super smart. And I really believe, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say it out here in the universe right now, that, things always swing, right? There's a pendulum that swings back and forth. And we were, nothing was online, and then things started becoming online, and now everything is online, and now nothing is not online. And I think that it's never going to go all the way back, because that's not the way a pendulum works. But I think that there is going to be a little slide back to, what, it is kind of nice to have something around to look at, or something to actually touch. That's not your phone. I really do believe
that's the point I was making. You picked up on it. Thank you.
That we're going to be seeing something a little bit different as time goes on. So, but here's the kicker, though. Don't think of this as busy work, because it's not busy work. This is seed planting. Every call, every touch point, every piece of content is a little seed. And when you plant those seeds in October and November and December, you're going to harvest them in January, February, and March. And I just can't say it more than I'll keep saying it throughout the rest of this podcast. It's not rocket science. This is not new stuff, but this is the stuff that works. And I'll tell you from experience, you'll also find the handful of people who need to move now, like Jan's been talking about. You have divorces, you have relocation, you have retirement, upsizing, downsizing. Life doesn't wait for the Fed to change rates. That's just the way it is. You want to be the one they think of when it's their time to act.
Totally. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture for a second. So at some point, we're all hoping, certainly all the buyers and sellers sitting on the sidelines, that rates are going to shift, maybe a quarter point, maybe a full point, but even a 1% drop. Frankly, I think it's about a 1% drop. I think the number is about 5.5. We're kind of like at 6, and we've floated in the last couple weeks between 6.5 and 6.6, 6.7. Okay. So I think 5.5 is going to be a number that people are going to be like, okay, with all that pent up demand, right? So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? It depends on are all sellers, a lot of sellers waiting going to come on and flood the market with more inventory. So it becomes supply and demand issue, right? We don't really know until If there's not as many sellers coming on the market and lots more buyers, what's going to happen? The prices are going to be driven up. And if the rates continue to come down, we could get into a scenario where your new challenge, real estate agents, is you're having to have your buyers compete. Right now, they're not competing because there's not as many buyers and there's more inventory. So we have a scenario in most markets where sellers have to keep reducing their prices unless their homes are perfect, been updated, in a desirable area, and price well. Those move quickly. Everybody else is anywhere from 3 to 4 months on the market. That's our market time right now, 3.5 months. So
it's crazy.
Now you have a scenario where you got to write tons of offers. You have to get your buyers to be super competitive. They're not going to get deals, and the prices are going to go up. Great, you have a 5.5% interest rate, but you're having to overpay for a house again. So you see where we're going with that? That's why we're saying there is no perfect market. Sellers don't get to sell high and turn around and buy low. I say this all the time in my market update videos. That's what everybody wants, but it can't happen. It's one or the other, whatever's going on. Or sometimes we're in a transitioning market, which is where I think we are now, and the opportunities are here. Opportunities are here for new homes. If you have new homes in your market, they are here now because they need to sell homes and there's not as many buyers. Buyers are being picky. That will all change when there's plenty of buyers, and they will eliminate the incentives. They'll think about whether or not they're going to pay you a commission. That's now you have a whole nother set of challenges that you have to deal with. So, and it doesn't mean that that's bad. It just means that's what we're trying to get across today. You have to anticipate, watch what's happening. The only way to do that is to be knowledgeable of what's happening in the market. You don't have a crystal ball. I don't. No one does. We could have a recession hit. We could have all kinds of things start happening. And even if that happens and people lose equity in their home, right now they have equity. But if a set of circumstances happens economically, worldwide, whatever, that causes prices to come down and people to sit on the sidelines again and people to get in trouble with their homes and so forth, then we'll have to deal with that too. And there's definitely ways to thrive in that market too and help people, move on, do a short sale or sell now and get their equity out, that kind of thing. All right. So anyway, I'm getting on a soapbox, but that's what causes the people to get paralyzed. You're thinking, you want it to be a market that you liked before, where it was like shooting fish in a barrel and you're just making sales and money hand over fist. And I listened to something my broker said a week ago, and he sent this video out that was really good. And it's just one piece of it said, back in 2022, when everybody was selling a lot of houses because the rates were so high and everybody was doing it and they were overpaying and all that other stuff and waiving their inspections and their appraisal gaps and this, that, and the other, those are borrowed sales, is what he says. Think about this. Mm-hmm. Some of those people were people who were going to buy in 2023 or beyond, and they moved their timeline up to 2022 because it made sense. Okay, now fast forward where we are, and we are basically, people are holding, waiting for the next thing to happen. So get going now when the wave shifts and the market shifts and more people jump in, you'll be ready for it. But you have to be ready to adjust to not the conditions we have now where the buyer gets to choose and gets to get 20 grand off the house and 10,000 in credits. That's going to be different, but you'll be able to adjust to it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
So bottom line here, don't be the one stuck scrambling, right? And playing catch up. And it means that you are taking action now. You're able to deal with what's going on in the market now, anticipate whatever could happen and get ahead of it. So I'll leave you with this on this little section here. Do you want to be the agent who's sprinting to catch the train, which is the visual I can see of like, I missed a train, because that's generally everybody. Or are you the one that's already sitting in the first class front of the train, enjoying yourself because you bought your tickets a month ago?
Love it.
Right? It's a great little analogy. It's your choice. That's the bottom line.
Right. And that's the key. That really is the key takeaway. So let's just say it again. When that wave hits, the agents who have been consistently working, having conversations, creating content, staying in front of their people, they will be ready. And that's all there is to it. The ones who've been waiting, they'll be scrambling to play, playing catch up. So which side do you want to be on? That's the big question, right? And I think that we know what side you want to be on. The question is, are you going to take the steps to actually get on that side? We shall see how that goes out. You let us know what you decide to do the last few months of the year. So here's where it all comes together. You don't need to wait for the market to give you permission. You need to decide that now is your time to do it, right? Rates may stay high, inventory may stay tight, but people's lives don't stop. They're still moving, still making decisions, and they'll still need a guide, and that guide is you. So here's the bottom line. Mindset plus action equals momentum. If you've been waiting for the perfect market, stop. Just stop. There's no perfect market, only perfect timing. And the timing for that is right now. So ask yourself, are you going to be in that group that's always chasing, always scrambling to catch up? Or are you going to be in the top 10% who adapt, pivot, and thrive no matter what's been happening out there?
And if you're really ready to do more than just listen, and you're ready to build the systems and the mindset and the foundation, and you need some help, then we've got you back.
We do.
And we call it the Real Estate Sales Builder course. So if you need a little back to the basics and a little motivation, you'll get step-by-step training. You'll also get access to us directly. We'll set up a consultation with you to help get you, as part of that, get you online based on your individual goals and so forth. And if you're a team leader or a broker, we do have a real estate team builder series to help you build a team or a small brokerage. And we have our core foundational training of Real Estate Sales Builder as a certification that you can partner with us and provide that to your team, our training, and co-brand with us to be your for your training system for your team or your small brokerage. And again, invite you to reach out. Happy to jump on a call, a consultation, free 30-minute call. Just talk about your growth plans or where you're at. Give you some guidance. That won't cost you a dime. Just go over to WBNLcoaching.com. There's a little form you can fill out, and we'll get back to you right away.
Yeah, and really all the other things too, Sales Builder, Team Builder, everything is over there at WBNLcoaching.com. So you can find all that and reach out. Please reach out, because we're actually pretty good with follow-up, because we talk about it all the time, and we like to practice what we preach. Who would have thought? Yeah. And you can find all that information, by the way, and all the stuff we talked about today over at the show notes too, because this has been episode 381, and you can get that show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. So this is the move that changes everything. Don't wait for the market to change. Be the one who changes. Plant your seeds now. Build your systems now. Get your momentum going now. Because when that wave of opportunity hits, and it will, because it always does, you'll already be in motion, while everyone else is just lacing up their shoes to get going. That kind of gave me a little bit of chills thinking about that, because it would be so fun to be the first person out of the gate, right? And not the one that's, dragging behind. So
that's right, man. Be at the front of the line.
That's right. Anything else, John O'Brien?
No, I'm just excited about this. I mean, it's coming up on the end of August, so we're doing our sort of finish the year strong podcast that we always do, because the time is now. We've been in a weird market, and I know there's a lot of folks struggling, but it really does start with mindset, and I want to lead with that. Mindset, awareness around that, plus taking some action is where the momentum gets you moving forward, and that's all you need. A little movement forward, and everything starts to fall into place. It doesn't have to be hard unless you make it hard.
That is enough said.
And that's your choice too.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.